is Sam, the Frugal Hugel gardener. I'm out here first thing in the morning. Gonna go ahead and take a little walk around the property and see how things are. So here's a little tour. My loquats are doing good over here. They're shooting off new growth. My Loquat Tree over here has got loquats on it. They were on here during the hard freeze we got, so I don't know how they're gonna do. You can kind of see that the young ones died, but some of them are still on there. So I'm not really expecting these to ripen real good, but they might fool me. My Mexican sunflowers over here, they went ahead and got hit hard by the freeze, but as you can see on the base of them, they're all coming back from the roots, and that's what you're supposed to see. You want it coming back from the roots. Same thing over here. The Mexican sunflowers that were so pretty this year, they all got hit. These here I'm gonna have to trim up. You can see they're all dead. But on the base, they come back from the root. So relatively, I got to get in here and prune them up from the root where you see the green and let it all grow back. Coming over here, these died, and the same thing. They're coming up from the root. But here you go. This was protected from the top along the hedge line, and it didn't kill them. It just dropped the leaves. So now you know if they're protected, they won't totally die. My banana plants over here, the parent plant's doing good. The pups are doing good. Even the very, very young pups. I got some nice foliage coming in over here from the plot field. And you can see the banana plants are all the way around the property. They're all coming back. And that's relatively, I protected the corms. Even on the very young ones, they're all coming back. I'm not going to trim them up until maybe April. I want to make sure the last frost is 100% gone. So over here I got my Mexican sunflower. Most of them are protected from the house. This is the north side of the house. So they had some warmth from the house. They dropped their leaves, but most of it, they stayed nice and they came back with green really quick. Over here is where I got my spinach growing. You can see it does really well in the shade. It's all looking good. All of it's looking really good. And then coming in here, I have all my comfrey Bakken 14. Well, the cold hit them a little bit, and they went down like that, which is okay, because all this is going to go back into the ground. And you can see there's all nice growth coming in. I just have to get in here and trim them up. And I got to do a little bit of weeding, which is fairly easy to do. I just need the time. And then all the Mexican sunflower that gives all my comfrey Bakken 14 shade is all doing good. And that's why I planted those here and over there by the palm trees. And I'm going to have elephant ears in there because I want all this shaded. The comfrey Bakken 14 in Florida don't like the direct sun. It's too hot for them. So you can see where they grow perfect. So there's an idea for you. Mexican sunflowers are all coming in because they were on the side of the house and they're close to the house and they were protected. Okay, coming over here, I got some work to do. All my pups are coming in. I got some nice slime mold right here, and that's oh, I don't know if I got something that can move it, but here, some nice slime mold right here, and that's what you want to see on your mulch. Now this one here is where I harvested my banana, so I have to cut that down, but I have the sucker plants that are taking over in its place. The same thing over here. I harvested the banana and I have to cut that one down, but this one here is the one that's taking its place, and there's another pup. Now going back here, all these got hit hard. They all had young, very young bananas, so they didn't survive. They were just too young. But you can see all the plants and all the pups. I'll take a walk around. Everything's doing good, except for the young bananas. I have to cut them off, and I have to cut the plant back. I just have to find time. But you can see all the new growth. I just have to cut back the plants that had the bananas on them. Use it for mulch. But the main thing is that it's good to see that I protected all the roots, the base, the corm, so they were kind of a little bit warm, and they went ahead and came back pretty good. So that's a good sign. So they should really look good for the spring coming up. And the same thing over here. All these banana plants, they're all coming in really well. Same thing with the suckers, the little pups on them. It don't look like I have any die. Even the very, very, very small pups are coming back. And I went ahead and covered those up under the mulch. And you can see I left the mulch there. And as you can see, they like it. So I'm not removing any of that mulch yet. We're not out of the woods. In between March 1st to April 1st, we've had really cold spells, a lot of frost, a lot of ice before. Although I'm hoping we don't, but I'm going to leave those there. Okay, same thing over here. My Loquat tree is doing really well. I'm going to come in here and trim it a little bit. I got to go ahead and weed on the bottom. I'm going to put companion plants down on the bottom that are going to prevent the weeds. So I got to get in here and weed, put down some chips, and then go ahead and plant some nice plants around that. Plus I got to get in here this spring and trim up the insides, because I don't want all that down there. And here's all the deer, the netting and stuff. I got to come in here and do a little bit of work. Okay, so now let's go ahead and head over to the garden, because that's where the action is happening right now. So as we're working our way over there, I got fresh chip pile over here. I got about 3-year-old chip pile here, which is pure compost right now. I removed that from the garden this year. This right over here is pure topsoil, and it's soil that came from a sod company, so it's really good topsoil. I've got all my deer crop, and everything's into blossom, so they should drop seeds. I'll let them, and they'll grow back. My Loquat trees giving off new growth. I got to get in there and cut. Maybe you can see it. They got one grown out of the middle. I want to cut it because I just want it to grow a pyramid. Now, as soon as it gets warm, you remember this last year, where all those markers are? I prepped the beds, and those are ready to plant banana plants. I got to get in here and do all of my culvert pipes. I'm going to be working on that. I went ahead and trimmed up all of my muscadine grapevines. I did a video on that. You could look for it on YouTube. And in here, the only thing I have to do in here is do my culvert pipes. These are going to be my planters where I'm going to start with peppers. And right in here, you've probably seen the video. This is my garden. And you've probably seen the video. I went ahead and redid everything this year to where I got metal framing, which is for my shade cloth. I got my center trellises, and framing goes all the way down, so it's all going to be shade cloth. And down the bottom of each bed, I went ahead and redid them this year to where they have ground cover, which is going to be great. I have to go ahead and lay down all my irrigation and redo that. And then on all of my ground cover, I got to mark where I want my tomato plants and plants and cut them out so I could do my planting here shortly. This year I'm going to leave all this open with chips to get down. These are my last two beds over here, which are going to be row crop. We'll get to the Hugel culture area in a minute. Now, coming around this way, I just went ahead and added fill. And I got to come back in here and do a little weeding, which I'm going to work on, and level it out because I'm putting shade ground cover all throughout here. This is where my watermelons go. This here is my vineyard section, the grapevines. Although I got grapevines going all the way around. I got to come in here and pick up all the mess because I trimmed up all my muscadine grapevines as you're supposed to do every spring. And in here I got a lot of tomato plants coming in, but I'm gonna have to go ahead and pull those up because I don't know what kind they are and I don't want them there. However, I may leave this guy here because he's ready to eat. Look how healthy that looks. That just fell there and started growing. I removed all these culvert pipes. They're my culvert planters. I have to go ahead and, after I put down the ground cover, I need to go ahead and redo those, put in compost, and then plant in those. So this area right over here is going to be looking good with those. I'll do them a little different this year so I can walk all the way around them maybe. I got to redo my piping over here for my watermelons. I had to move it to get in here and do stuff. Now coming over here, this is my Hugel culture section right here. I got all these chips down in the ground about 3 feet. I'm making compost. These are my Hugel culture beds over here. Even though the soil is looking good, you can see how it looks in there. This is warm right now, so it's still baking. Those should probably drop down about 50%. And pretty soon, those mounds will be ready to plant on. I always leave the centers so I could drive the tractor on. Got more mold spores, fungus, slime growing in all over this over here. You can see it along over there, which is a good sign. That means all my chips are looking good. They're turning into good, rich compost. Here's my banana plants. These were all young. They're in my Hugel section. And you can see they're all coming back. I was hoping these would come back, even the tiny ones, because these are my rare varieties in here. But they are coming back, so I'm happy. And then I have muscadines growing. I still got to trim that one up. Okay, so let's go on the outside and see what's happening. Okay, so we're going to the outside over here. I want to go ahead and build me a couple more log birdhouses this year. I had 2 bluebirds go ahead and have eggs last year, and they had babies, and I seen them back this year, so it's going to happen again. I only have 2 of them, so I want to put in some more. Now these banana plants over here, they're all in pots, and they're all starting to look really good. I mounted them up, and even the small ones are coming back up through the chips, and I could take all that off pretty soon and sell them. Now let's go over here to my compost area. Okay, so I had Mexican sunflowers got hit. The majority of them are coming back. I got fresh horse manure that I'm turning into good compost. It's going to take a while. This is the newest section. Goes back to the oldest section. As you can see, it's turning, and then this is pure compost over here. I got some Hugel logs that I'm saving. This is my whole area that I use for turning chips into good dark topsoil. This pile right here is about 2 years old, and this is all brand new. This is where I'm piling them. If you could look, you could probably see all the steam coming off right now. That's heat. It's a hot pile. Let's see, I'll stand still. Can you see that coming off of them? This whole pile over here is a hot pile. Okay, so there you go. There's a little tour. I went ahead and walked around just to see what's going on around the property. I got my work cut out for me. I think I'm going to be working in that watermelon area. We're in March right now, the first week of March. So I want to start planting my watermelons next week. So with that said, let me go ahead and get over there and see what I got to do, because I want to put down that ground cover and start planting my watermelons.